Happy Monday, everybody. Hope you're having a great day. Good start off to your week. Glad to have you here for our regularly scheduled show. And I'm sure a lot of you, at least some of you, noticed that the theme song was completely different. Um, I've had a license to use music from the Senseless for years now. And so I would decide I would use something that I had an unflappable license for. So that's why the change. So apologies to the boys in Internal Bleeding. Could not get things worked out with their publishing. It's not their fault. I still love them. Still repping. Brutal. Gotta love it. I see a lot of people in chat here. Let's see. We got Suze. We got Bjorn. We got Jim Largo. We got Kieran Ball. We got some Ricky Starfox. We get some Jesse Hughes, who's leaving in about 10 minutes. And I think I got and Stephen S. I see as well. And Kieran, great theory on that, but no. Granted, I pre-order things and don't like look what all I got. Like I don't do that. But that's not what this is for. Although it may help some of you with that exact situation. Don't worry. Don't worry. It's tonight we're talking about the ideas of you're going to have things you plan for. There are things that you prioritize and strategize. Things come up, and kind of mitigating the whole thing. That's really what we're talking about today. So, I see Ian, I see Kal-El 48, aka Steven, and I also see Joe DeBecky. And yes, this is a Napalm Death shirt. I have a 5-foot poster of this exact image that I cannot wait to pull out of storage and hang. So I'll see Joe DeBecky. Hello, sir. A little bit of house cleaning. A video I put out earlier today, I did not know I was going to be putting out because I didn't know Mattel was going to be acting the fool. So, yeah. If you haven't checked it out after the stream, do me a favor, check it out. It's a short one. It's only 5 minutes long. But if you do ever do pre-orders, or you've been following my videos about Mattel Creations, check it out. So, everyone has a different way of approaching their collection, whether it be saying, I'm collecting this, this, and this, or these combinations of things, or simply saying, okay, I've got these things I'm collecting, I need these particular items by this time, and that's true whether it's vintage or new. With newer stuff, obviously pre-orders are a whole thing where you're actually going to be allocating funds towards that. Some places will allow you to pre-order sight unseen and then you pay upon delivery. Other places take your money first and then just deliver it when they can. And depending upon your budget, either one might be, more appealing to you. So my first question for everybody is, for those that do pre-order, do you prefer the ones where they take the money up front, or do you prefer the ones where you pay upon delivery? If and why? I do a combination depending upon what it is. I like the idea of seeing something and going, okay, I think I need that / want that, and just pre-order it, and then I can make a decision on the funds later. Where it's like you look at it a couple weeks later and you go, nah, I don't need that. You can just cancel it, and then there's no hit to your wallet, and it works out pretty well. On the other hand, with places like Nerdzoic, or even ordering direct from, say, Valaverse, you pay for it, you're going to get it. And I reserve that kind of thing for stuff I definitely want, and it certainly makes life easier because then it just shows up and it's like a miniature Christmas for me. I like that a lot. But by and large, most of my pre-orders are through Big Bad Toy Store, so that I can decide later. Like, a good example of that is Action Force. Even though I'm not happy about having to wait, I have made some revisions to my pre-order since, because I'm like, I don't need that, I don't need this. And I can focus on what I really want. You can kind of funnel it a little bit as well. Jesse Hughes says that they prefer paying later, and you like that Big Bad is late with everything, especially during the winter period. Exactly. Where it's something where you can mitigate that at your whim. And sometimes Like, and it isn't just toys. When it comes to pre-ordering certain video games or movies, like if you're going through Amazon or something like that, you can pre-order and then they don't charge you until it ships. And in the case of Amazon with films in particular, most of the time that price is going to go down before it gets released. So you're not stuck paying full price, right? Gojitron, hey Carl, says pay on delivery if there's any choice. Gives you time to budget long term. Also gives you option to cancel. You find it elsewhere. Exactly. I think that's probably the safest bet in collecting, no matter what it is. I think it makes the most sense, and it is flexible. I prefer it for those reasons exactly. I really do enjoy that. Plus, you don't have to worry about your money being tied up if something's not actually going to arrive. Kieran Ball says, pre-ordered 3 Action Force figures in the UK, paid a deposit on each item. There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that either. A deposit's good too. That's a right middle ground. Cal 48 says, same here, my preference based on what the item is. There you go. There you go. Oh, we're getting to impulse buys, Steven. Don't worry, we're getting there. We're getting there. Hi, Ben. Good to see you. Jim Margo says, I do appreciate the ability to pre-order without paying up front. Helps de-escalate fear of missing out and overbuying armored builders. Yes, it does. Because it makes you go, okay, what do I really need? Like, for example, my 2 Eternian guards finally became available to ship. I had bought 2 of them, and I considered buying 2 more. I was like, I'm going to get like 4 of them. And I still might. But knowing I had the 2, and they were paid for, they were just sitting there, ready to go, was quite nice. So I let a couple of weeks pass before I actually shipped them out. So I like to keep it at a minimum of 2 things from Big Bad before I'll ship. I'll never ship just one thing, unless it's like something really, really crazy good or whatever. But there's another version of flexibility there too. And Jesse Hughes says that he paid up front for the like button rather than wait till the end of the video. That's a pretty smart investment. I appreciate that. Bjorn, on the other hand, prefers to pay for something when they pre-order. Again, it's something where you don't have to worry about the money later. And depending upon what we're talking about, that can make a lot of sense. It's kind of nuts. Ian Sweeney says, the only pre-order I have done, I didn't actually pre-order myself as it was a present my sister got me for her birthday, Star Wars Rift Collection Wave 2. Fair enough. And it's a great concept. It solves a lot of problems, and because you can just kind of say, you can kind of stake your claim, I want this. And it staves off the FOMO, like Mr. Largo was saying, and certainly gives you an opportunity to rethink that decision without there being a weird to-do with your money. But then there's the other side of it, where she's come and said, I'd rather pay when I order because my dumbass will forget I ordered it later. This is true. And she's not the only one. I've forgotten stuff. I go, oh! And just go, ah. Yeah, you don't want, if I had pre-ordered, like, say, a Grayskull, and then it hits your wallet, and you're like, ah! It's $100, presumably close to it, out of your checking account. You don't expect it. That's no fun either. But there's ways you can mitigate that, read between the lines. Certainly things that can happen. So depending upon what it is that you're looking at, it can be very beneficial to pay for it up front. There's other ways to do these things too. There's many services out there that are only getting more flexible, where you can, and I like this with prepaid pre-orders. I do this a lot. I did this with, like, right now I'm looking at a Destiny Witch Queen Collector's Edition off to my right. Pre-ordered it well in advance. It arrived before the game came out. I still haven't opened it because I'm scared to break it, frankly. But when I ordered it, you had to pay for it. So I used one of the services that will allow you to create a virtual credit card and pay it in 4 installments. That lessens the sting of these things a hell of a lot more. You're paying less out per check. But you're still paying for it. And then when it's done, and it just shows up. So I think that, for me, is like the best middle ground. Or if I can pay for it up front and it's just paid off, I don't have to worry about it, right? And there's caveats to that stuff too. I mean, nothing is perfect, but that's a good one. Old Man of Cardboard says, at 50 years old, having sold off all but a few items, I do not collect much now. I look for paper model punch-out books on eBay, but every now and then I will buy something I like if the price is good. Exactly. Um, and that kind of brings us into the next part of things. Like, do you, the royal you, all of you, um, if you have a plan, there's certain things you're pre-ordering for, and you might have, um, funds set aside for something, or you may have something on pre-order. But then you walk into a store and you see that thing on the shelf or something else that you might be looking for that is no longer available for pre-order, or it's a vintage thing that you weren't expecting. How do you handle that? Because it's not on the immediate list, right? Sometimes things will come across of a very good deal, and you're like, well, I have to, I got to rethink my stuff, right? That happened with me in the Snake Mountain, where a friend of mine who had bought stuff off of before said, hey, I've got one. And I've got most of the parts, but not all of them. And it's not in great shape, but basically pay me shipping plus $20 and you can have it. I was like, yeah, I want that. So we went ahead and did that, and it worked out really well for me. And I immediately went and I found the best deal on all the other parts, and I have a complete Snake Mountain, which I still haven't put back together or filmed or anything, but it's going to happen someday, soon, I promise. But the point is that it was a totally out of the blue thing. It's like, hey, man, I just realized you collect Motu and I have a Snake Mountain. Do you want a Snake Mountain? I'm like, yeah, I want a Snake Mountain. Never, and it wasn't an insane amount of money to spend, but I wasn't planning on spending that money. So you have to kind of go, okay, what's coming up? Am I skipping a meal out? Am I skipping a couple meals? Am I skipping beer? Am I canceling a pre-order that's coming? Do you have an emergency fund like Kieran is saying? Kieran Ball says, emergency fund, my overdraft. Yep, that's definitely something that's there. And I use that stuff sometimes. I think we all do. Stephen S. says, I'm an old fart and new to online. I'm still curious how you send money through PayPal. The short version of that is with PayPal, you connect your account or accounts to PayPal, and then you usually will search for someone's through their email address, or if they have what's called a paypal.me link, like I have one, you would be able to go there and be assured it goes directly to me, that kind of a thing. And that's useful for when money exchanges hands, things like that. So like some of the guys and gals that I've dealt with here, whether they're in chat or not, like, hey, I found this thing for you, and I can just shoot them money that way. It tends to be pretty easy. But they handle everything, it encrypts everything to where no one sees anyone's financial information and everything else. It's pretty good stuff. You have to mitigate certain fees and stuff like that, but it's a convenience to it, and it's a hell of a lot easier than it used to be back in the day when all we had were paper checkbooks. And check cards were not yet a thing. I remember those days. I remember seeing an ATM machine and going, like, what the hell is that? You mean you just go up to a machine, you put a card in, and it gives you cash? How does that work? And I remember when check cards first became a thing, when you could actually take a card, like a credit card, and swipe it, and the money comes out of your account. I remember when that was new. That was not always a thing. So now just being able to move money around all over the place, it's kind of nuts. Woman of Cardboard says, I like my Shogun Warriors Godzilla. Really tempted with the Super 7's reaction figure of that toy. Like the idea of a 3 3/4 Godzilla on my desk at work, just like the big one you have at home. If you like that figure, that's a really good option. And like Gojitron is saying, do it. Absolutely. If you want it, get it. They're not expensive, and they look pretty quality stuff. Jim Largo saying, building teams sucks. Hasbro, Mafex, and SH Figuarts have a bad habit of not completing or not announcing team members, making planning difficult. Yes. That's definitely a thing where maybe you're prioritizing getting like a classic X-Men lineup, but you can't find all of those figures just easily accessible when you make the decision. Because one's part of a multi-pack from 3 years ago. Three of them are available right now. Some are like a year old, and some haven't been announced yet. And it's like, ugh, I hate that stuff. And I don't understand, like, do they just not like money? Or is it up for them about like getting money at different times? Like, I don't understand the business of it. Um, I should be able to get what I want when I want. It should not be this difficult. I understand business doesn't work that way, but it should be better, because I have not always been able to mitigate an unexpected opportunity, whether it's a new pre-order or a Kickstarter or whatever the case may be. The options weren't always there. So I find it interesting that now that I'm in a spot where most of the time I can mitigate something, figure something out, whether it's myself or making deals with friends or whatever the case may be, I still have to think those things through, right? Because it's still an expenditure. But those are the things that you deal with all the time. Trading is something else. Like I can get certain things that other people can't get. I'm like, well, you give me this, I'll get you that, and which is fine. But then you got to ship things and all that, and it's a whole thing. There's tons of different ways of looking at this. That the costs are not always monetary, right? So he says, I remember the first time my mom tried to use an ATM machine and ate her card, she vowed never, never again. Not a lot of fun. Not a lot of fun. That's an excellent reference, Bjorn. Look at what Michael French had to go through, put his Pride of the X-Men. Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking of when he talked about that. And certainly what I went through with the Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends, which I'm thankful I have complete. Like, I bought Firestar, and I started looking for a Spider-Man, which in 2021 wasn't easy. And then thankfully Jim Largo came down like an angel from the heavens and was able to procure one for me, which then I had to find an Iceman and not be a super cheapskate about it. Finally got one. So now I have them. But that process took, in total, about 8 months, give or take. And it should not have. I should be able to go, bing, 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 and just bought them. But that's the nature of business these days, for sure. Bjorn says, back when the Marauders Vietnam Kickstarter happened, I had the opportunity to choose between backing it and buying a Dexter's Lab collection. You chose the former. It's an interesting choice. Very different tonally, right? Do you want to back these Vietnam soldier figures? Or a Dexter's Lab collection? It's like, depending upon what you're into, like that might be a difficult decision. But that's interesting, like, which of these am I getting? Ian Sweeney says, I have tried a few times to start collecting either a line or figure run from launch, but I really can't afford it. Helps being a fan of less popular toy lines and going for wabi-sabi vintage stuff. Fair enough. Certainly it's something where, with Origins, it's the one toy line where I'm like, all of it as we go for me. You guys all know that, I think. And there are times when I'm like, what the hell are you doing? But then I just got to look over at this guy. And I'm like, how can I deny him all his buddies? Yeah, I can't. I just can't. So it was an easy decision to make because it was something that, as a kid, Masters of the Universe, I was really heavy into it. But there was no way I was going to get all those toys. It just wasn't going to happen. But I'm in a position where these are quality toys that are better than the ones that I grew up on, and they're relatively inexpensive for what they are, and they're accessible enough that it's not a complete headache if you're caught up in just doing the pre-orders. I don't mind waiting that extra time from Big Bad. I don't mind at all. I say that now, but when this next shipment from their cargo ships arrive, I might have to make some decisions, you know, because I'm worried that everything is going to arrive all at once, and I might be like, ha, ha. But because of the way that I have my pre-orders set up, um, I can take a moment to make those decisions as they come. But things don't arrive that way with Big Bad. With Big Bad, you order something at the same time and they'll arrive like weeks apart from each other for no apparent reason. Like the Fantastic Four, like that was my first, like, I'm ordering this now. And you would think that all four of them will arrive at the same time and you just pay for them. No, sir, no, ma'am. Those were like 3 months apart, which is nuts. The first two in one wave, and then the other, then one, and then the fourth one. And I don't get it. And it worked out fine. It's fine. It just doesn't make a lot of sense. So you can't be like a super stickler with your planning because there are a lot of things that are out of your control. So depending upon what it is you're looking to do with your time and money, different methods kind of lean into where you might want to go as opposed to others. Ben Sutley says, I think I only really agree with the crowdfunding model for one-man band small startup situations. I don't see why massive companies should make interest pre-order money. I agree 100%. I do not like Kickstarter models for big business. Pre-orders are one thing. But an actual like kickstarting crowdfunding vibe, like screw that crap. No, I don't want that. I don't want that at all. I think it's dumb. Joe Margo says, back in the day, Toy Biz was able to make box sets of figures. Why is Hasbro tone deaf on box sets? So there's an example of overpriced missing key characters. I agree completely with you. I don't know what else to say. They should take these pre-existing molds and put out box sets. I don't know why they don't do it. They could do an X-Men video game set. They could do a, X-Men Giant Size #2 set. They could do a Jim Lee set. They have the molds for almost all those characters. And all they're doing is designing a box. Shouldn't be that hard. Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends. Done. You've got the molds. Just make more and put them in the box. I don't get it. Avengers. And you could do an MCU versus comic books. You could do all kinds of stuff. But no, they don't like money, apparently. They just don't like money. Jim says, you can always sell a kidney to pay off your Valverse pre-orders. I know a guy. No, I'm good, Jim. I'm good now. Good, buddy. It's okay. It's all right. If I ever get to that place with my toys, like, just cut me off. I'm done. I'm done. Bjorn says, I got lucky when I got the Fantastic Four. I think when I got them was more of an impulse buy. As I recall it, because you sent me the pictures and stuff, you were just like, And I was like, and you asked me, it's like, is that a fair price? I'm like, yeah, it's retail. It's, if you want them, get them. Because you don't see them, all four of them in one place like that at retail. Just grab them. Kieran Ball says, yes, the like button has been naughty. Please smack it. Oh, you like button? Did you like that? I tell you what, watch the video. Yeah, that's pretty good. I like that, Kieran. I like that. Dirty minds. Think alike. I love it. Steven says we need amalgam figures, especially Dark Claw. Okay. All right. You remember seeing a box of the Guardians Galaxy back in the day? Yeah, I can see that. And Ben says, duly smacked. More likes than the watchers now. And tonight's first super chat from Sue says, what's this do? It puts $5 in the hopper. For those of you that didn't know, over the weekend, YouTube came along and invited us into the partner program. So super chats are a thing now. We're working on channel memberships if that's something that you're into. And I actually get a cut of ad revenue now. The ads were already running, but now we actually get a bit of a cut. So thank you so much for that $5. I appreciate that. And this is after she bought me a cheeseburger today. I don't know what I did, but thanks. Thank you so much. Kieran Ball says, Hasbro would prefer to release Build-A-Figure waves where customers have to buy 3 or 4 crappy figures just to get the BAF pieces. I agree with that. I think that it certainly seems that way, right? But I guess my counterpoint is, well, if you're making figures people don't want to buy, maybe just make only the figures everyone will buy, and then wait for them to start yammering about these more obscure figures, and then make those. Why just throw them in there? You know what I mean? Like, I don't understand that at all. Ricky, 5 doll hairs? I can hold them in my little hand right here. Jim Largo jumping on the train with a super chat says, Suze, it adds to the Grindhead beer fund. You're not wrong. There's beer in here tonight. Thank you, brother. Cheers. Appreciate you. Thank you very much for that. Appreciate that, guys. But, I mean, we could probably do a whole chat just about the lack of teams and, big, sets of stuff. I feel like with Motu, for example, I think Mattel could make a lot of money taking the stuff that they were going to repress anyway and re-releasing them in waves, right? They'll take the first wave of figures, put them in one box at a slightly discounted price. So maybe you're paying for 5 figures $50 instead of 65 or something like that. I think that would make them a lot of money and would keep a lot of things off the pegs, in my opinion. Bjorn Jorgensen with $5 says, since Jody isn't here, I'll just do it just cuz. Fair enough, man. Appreciate that. It's very kind of you. He's doing the just cuz. Appreciate that, man. Really appreciate that. That's funny. Just cuz. Just cuz. Stephen S. says, so they made a high evolutionary figure for that Fantastic Four line, but not Adam Warlock. Yeah. I have a feeling that we're not going to see Adam Warlock until we see Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 come out. And we'll probably only see the MCU version of it. Hopefully we'll see both. I would prefer the comic book version myself. Doesn't make a ton of sense to me. But yeah, I don't get it. High evolutionary makes some sense. They could have done a repack of Doctor Doom, but they didn't. There's a lot of things they could have done with that they just didn't. Where's Mole Man? Where's Mole Man? Right? Where's Mole Man? Where's they could have done another Skrull. They could have done some Skrulls. Herbie, the robot, Franklin Richards. Nothing. I mean, there's a lot of missing holes with that. I agree. Ian Sweden says, my biggest problem collecting is not actually my low budget, but given my collecting parameters, there's always something I can buy. So it's either buy now or wait and save for a more expensive item. It's fair. I think that's probably the most rational thing one can do. And for a collector like myself, where I'm kind of right in the middle between vintage and modern, because I'm a lot pickier with modern than I am with vintage. Well, I am as picky with some modern lines as I am with vintage, and luckily, I'm not feeling pressure for certain things. There's some toy lines that I haven't started collecting yet that I just keep looking over at them and I'm like, do I want to get into that? Because I know how much money it's going to ultimately cost. It's kind of hard to kind of decide. Ben says, that's wicked news, and as it should be nice one. No worries. Just because the option is there doesn't mean I expect you to do it. It's always appreciated, never expected. Just you watching is enough, especially at this point. So appreciate you all the same, brother. Rollman of Cardboard says, team building. Where is Spin Master's Green Lantern? I have no idea. I'm so sorry. Although a Green Lantern Corps box set would be pretty cool. Bjorn says, I heard somewhere how the X-Men cartoons can be linked to the MCU via the new Doctor Strange movie. Man, I have no idea. There's lots of rumors out there, and I subscribe to none of them. It's, no. I can't do it. It's interesting, and I hope that they do something cool like that, but I don't know how that's going to work at all. Karen Ball says, I heard they can make a herd of Skrull cows, too. I mean, they could. They could. They could do anything. They could repack that Build-A-Figure Super Skrull and sell it as a single figure at like a premium price of like $30 or something, and I'd buy it. but I'm not tracking down those parts. It's not going to be a thing. Jim Largo says a tough planning issue is new third-party accessories and props. Hard to decide from a picture without seeing it on the shelf. Yes. And that's one of the realities of buying things online, right? Um, you never know what you're getting, and it's not like a box of chocolates. It's like the other thing that's that color, squishy. It's really difficult to to figure out whether it's a display piece or an accessory or a diorama piece. To determine, is this really gonna give me what I'm looking for? There's a lot of leaps of faith one has to take, like these custom replacement cuffs that I got for Snake Mountain. I could have gotten an original set for the same price, or made a set for the same price, frankly. But for what he was charging with everything that he included, I couldn't say no. So these are custom made. They got the little chain here. They got nice cuffs on them. And they got some pretty well reinforced pegs to put in. And it also comes with these plastic washers to make it easier for them to stick in the castle, and some cuff modifiers for the thinner wrists of the female characters. It even comes with like a little he band, if you will. Kind of cool. And for what he was charging, I said, I have no idea how good this is going to be, but I'll take a chance, because it was not expensive at all relative to what it is. And he ships it in this custom printed little package. Didn't know that at the time, but it's really cool to just have it. But it was so thoughtful, and it came with instructions and everything. It's good stuff. But even with pictures, it was still a blind buy, because like things can look great in pictures, but till you actually pick them up and hold them in your hand, it's like, yeah, you ever pick something up and you're like, that's flimsy as fuck. Like that's gonna be a really horrible thing in my hand. It's gonna break the second I put on somebody's wrist. It's no good. Kieran Ball says Hasbro Slow Pulse has released a Skull Trooper figure, but at 50 pounds, I'm not army building. Like, yeah, I've seen that one. Yeah, screw that crap. No way. No fuzzy handcuffs for Castle Grayskull. Not for Castle Grayskull. That would be for Snake Mountain. But don't put it past me to get another set of these. Okay? Don't put it past me. I might get another set of these and put fuzzy on them. All right? You never know what I'm going to do, dude. You never know what I'm going to do. So don't tempt me, Largo. Don't fucking tempt me, because I might do it. Ian Sweeney says, as much as I hated the choice of the Mando figures for the Star Wars Retro Wave 3, I was relieved, really, as I felt no impulse to get them. Like the Mando series, but went for a few of the vintage collection figures, not the retro style ones. Yeah. Every time I look at the retro collection stuff, I'm like, why? Why would I bother? But vintage collection stuff, I really, 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 really like. But again, sticking with Bespin because reasons. And I have worked very hard to avoid certain things. There's still some figures I haven't nabbed yet. Like everything I've ever mentioned that I still need, I haven't bought any more since then. I haven't bought any since Boba Fett and Darth Vader, because I'm scared. I'm scared, frankly. I have other priorities right now, but when I tear that Band-Aid off, it's gonna cost me some money, and I don't really mind that much. Ricky says that all the cuffs are pretty cool. Always have issues with flimsiness when you find old toys. Yeah, which is part of why I tend to lean into custom alternate parts or full-blown reproduction parts. I prefer them, actually, because they tend to be, more reliable. Frankly, they tend to be more reliable for me. Bjorn says that's what happened with the Loyal Subjects turtles. All the pictures showed them in the accurate colors, and then when Epic Badger sent two to me, they're all wrong. It's awful. It's awful to hear. And we want to be clear that that wasn't Jesse's fault. That was the manufacturer's fault. Fair enough. Fair enough. So, if you're on a budget or what have you, and Scuba Pete would be a good one to ask this because he runs into this shit all the time. If you walk into a store, especially a vintage collectible store, and you walk in and they have something you've been looking for a while, and it's expensive, it's pricey. What goes through your head? Do you have a budget for that sort of a thing? Or do you just go, I'll eat ramen for the next 6 years. I don't care. Like, what goes through your head, folks? Like, when you see something you have never seen in the flesh before, something you've been after, the price is right. What gets those juices flowing? What happens? While I'm waiting for you to answer that, Stephen S. asks, am I crazy for liking the Marvel Legends Ironheart and Firestar figures? Don't even collect legends. No. No. In fact, I would encourage you, if there are just very specific figures that you like, and it's just a couple of them, get them. There's nothing wrong with that. And like Ian Sweeney is saying, like, as long as it doesn't lead to a full blown addiction for the line, it's fine. Like, there's a ton of Marvel Legends figures I have no interest in at all. None. But I'm still going to get the stuff that I want, right? So there's nothing wrong with that. Jim Largo said, nostalgia tax almost got me on those 5 POA Marvel Legends 3.75 figures. Can't justify them because 6 inches is your jam. Yeah, the big thing for me was they don't scale with superpowers. So if they don't scale with superpowers collection, I didn't care. And but I will say that if they did, I probably would have gotten those and wouldn't be getting the 6-inch Marvel Legends stuff that I've been getting lately. So it's totally different, right? It's weird. It's weird. And Sue says that she tends to collect very specific figures, so there's nothing wrong with it at all. There you go. Bjorn says, as a cherry picker, I can move between the lines and not pigeonhole myself. There you go. Steven says, there are some darn cool ones I noticed as I'm a big comics collector. Yeah, and that's the thing. Marvel Legends is really getting much better at doing comic accurate stuff. I love the MCU stuff as well. I tend to prefer the comic book stuff most of the time, but like the core MCU characters I like, and I'm very pleased to have a big portion of them now. But I also like having, so I want to have like this one little spot with all the MCU stuff. Like I want to kind of do an end game kind of a thing. And then I want to have similar stuff, but with a wider range of comic book based characters. I'm just like that. Um, I made a literal choice when I decided to buy a Thanos, Badabinos, purple guy. I could have bought an MCU one or the Jim Starlin comic book version. I went Jim Starlin comic book version because that's the Thanos I grew up on. And I may loop back around and get an MCU one at some point because I like that design too. But that one that came out, the Infinity Gauntlet one that came out last year, like he's a beautiful figure. I love him. I can look right over there and I can see his little boots. His feet are right next to Thing's feet. They're just like, it's kind of interesting. When you decide to buy a Josh Brolin, no, not really. I bought a Thanos, a Josh Brolin BMCU Thanos, which I did not buy. Star Fox, I see you. Kieran Ball says, I only have one toy store near my little English village, and they only stock a few Motu Origins and Marvel Legends figures, so it is eBay for you. Yeah, and I can see where that would be a problem, for sure. I have lots of stores around me, and I can't decide which one to go to, so I just don't go to any of them. Honest to goodness. That's a big part of it. Ian Sweeney says, wouldn't mind a retro collection of Kenner superpowers, especially if it gave me a shot at getting an affordable Hall of Justice. Hall of Justices are not that expensive these days. It all depends upon what you're going for and what you want. You have to be patient with them. But typically, you can, around $150 US, $180. You can get a complete one in pretty good condition. You just have to be very patient, but they're not that difficult to come by. Definitely not. You just have to know what to look for. So if it is something that you're thinking about, Obviously, I want you to reach out so I can tell you like what prices to expect on certain things, what's highway robbery, what isn't, that sort of a thing. Especially when it comes to like repro accessories and stuff, because there's great stuff out there. You just gotta know where to look. So if it is something you're thinking about, let me know. I'll help you along as best I can. But Hall of Justice is not too bad. Not too bad, not too hard to find. You just gotta be patient. Bjorn says another bonus being a cherry picker, it's easier on the wallet. True enough. Rolled Meta Cardboard says, once saw one of my holy grails on eBay with a buy it now for 300, usually at 500 plus. Wow, that's a big discount. Started figuring out how I could get it, nutted out, reduced bills, and sell a kidney, but in less than an hour, it sold. Ah, that's happened to me, dude. That has happened to me. I hate that crap. I hate it, and I'm just poor little out for your homie there. I'm really sorry that happened to you, man. I'm really sorry that happened. Cal says, "You mean Marvel Darkseid? Ooh, shots fired! Shots fired!" But he's not wrong. He's not wrong. Talking about Thanos. Ben Sully says, on the impulse buy thing, I probably stopped myself 9 out of 10 times. Then the built-up frustration makes me spend way too much on the 10th time. Yeah. I've had to become an expert on when something is a good deal to me, right? I have to set a price in my head. Like if I see something in XYZ condition at XYZ price, I got to find a way to pull the trigger. But more often than not, people aren't selling things at condition I want at the price I'm willing to pay, so I miss out most of the time. But too many times, just even in recent memory, I've come across stuff later at a better price. I probably spent about 20% too much for about half of my Superpowers collection stuff, but it was typically that good of a condition and that complete in one go was worth the extra money to not have to worry about getting the extra pieces and stuff. But in hindsight is always 2020, right? Dave Mustaine taught me that. Hindsight is always 2020. You'll find it, especially when we're talking about Superpowers, for example. But it's a pain. I definitely feel a lot better having them right here than wondering, oh, I gotta find such and such part. Screw that. Like it's everyone's different and it's tough. It's definitely tough. Well, but Cardboard says my holy grail, Major Matt Mason Punch Out book. You see 5. Jeez, that's a lot for a book. But I get it. Totally get it. I wasn't going to ask you what it was because I know how some people were like, no, I don't want to tell anybody. So everyone's going to buy them. But that's pretty cool. I'll keep an eye out for it. I doubt I'll find it, but I'll keep an eye out for you. Your Nuggets would love if someone did a line of figures based on the DC alternate universe. Aha! I figured it out. The 90s, 2000s. Okay. Fair enough. Sully says, maybe watch this to so full and forever moving items so I can watch new ones. Yep, I do that same thing. I definitely do that. Dear Margo says that thinks the upcoming controller Build-A-Figure is more of a discount Darkseid. There you go. And Build-A-Figures in general, I do not like them. Like, just put the parts in a box. Let me buy them if I want to. Like, you've already made the figure, right? Like, why can't I just buy it? Because they're probably losing more money than they're getting. Just me. DC Animated Universe. Okay. Kieran Ball bringing Kenny Rogers into this shit. Gotta know when to hold 'em. Know when to fold 'em. Know when to walk away. Know when to run. You got you. The eBay song. We all know the eBay song, right? Bet you thought I didn't know that one, did you? Steven S says, did they ever make Wonder Twins' figures in that monkey? Gleek? Not officially, not that I'm aware of. lots of folks have done customs of them in the superpower scale. They have done them. They're not easy to find because only a few people have done them, but they're pretty cool. But no, not officially. I've never seen them. And if there are out there, someone let me know. Ian Sweeney says, the appeal of a retro collection figure for me is getting a good version of a classic figure and paying way less than it would cost for a reasonable vintage, like Bespin Luke would be a prime example. Yeah, and that's why the vintage collection series for Star Wars, just like with Motu Origins, is for me, because you're getting a technically superior toy that it evokes that memory all the same. You're getting the best of both worlds in that situation. That's part of why I kind of lean into that. And of course, Bjorn would know this. Lego did the Wonder Twins. Wait, Lego did the Wonder Twins? Was there consent involved? I want to know about these things. Wonder Twin powers activate. Form of rape whistle. Wait, did I say that? Oh, crap. I didn't mean to say that. So let's forget that I said that. I'm a horrible, horrible man. Horrible man. Ozzy Rule says, I thought the eBay song was You Suffer by Napalm Death. Not wrong, Ozzy. Not wrong, sir. Not wrong. Gojatron says, Mattel DCU Classics Wonder Twins are... Oh. Okay. We're a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive for big money. See, Carl, this is why I love when you show up, man. You know stuff. You're amazing. I love you. I love you. Thank you for being here. It's good stuff. I need to get a kick out of that, Ricky. I need to get a kick out of that. I knew he'd get a kick out of that. He's a sick man. Jordan says that the Wonder Twin Legos came out during a Lego Batman collectible minifigure series. Well, isn't that special? It is. I'm just trying to be a jerk. I wouldn't know. I've never watched Game of Thrones, and I never will. So I honestly don't know if he drinks also. I honestly don't know if Gojatron drinks at all. And I don't know enough about Game of Thrones to comment in context on that particular thing. I'm sorry. I'm very, very sorry. Actually, I'm not. But, I'm trying to kill time while I pour this beer. What can you do? What can you do? Not sure why I sound like Dennis Hopper in Speed, but I'll take it. It's fine. Love a song for every occasion. Not wrong. Not wrong. Modern Mego also produced Wonder Twin. Okay, that's fair. You know what? I'm old and I forget things, so I actually saw it. I was just not gonna lie, I laughed at the Wonder Twins joke, but you already knew I would. Yeah, I mean, if you just look at some of the song titles of the bands that we're into, of course we're gonna laugh at it. Totally us. Will McLaughlin, sir, who made his in the credits Patreon debut in the video release earlier today. So, thanks, man. Love you. Glad to see you. Gojatron says, I drink coffee. Does that count? Sure. Absolutely. Ian Sweeney watched Game of Thrones, will never rewatch it. Yeah. They kind of screwed the pooch on that series. Miracle says, use most of one of the figures from that series to make a Lego Zeus. That makes sense. For those of you that don't know what he's talking about, there is the Lego Zeus right there. This is her. This is not her. This is her. There you go. It's a massive sacrifice. So, we've been going just shy of an hour. So, very few people are admitting to impulse buys in person because most of us are doing on eBay. But I'm seeing people that are like, yeah, doing that. Certainly is something that happens to us all. And I don't have money set aside for that specific purpose. I don't. I probably should, but I'm curious if anyone else does that sort of a thing. Because Some folks just have a savings account that they keep around for that sort of thing. Some folks maybe will have a credit card for that sort of thing. I'm wondering how you guys mitigate your impulse purchases. That's what I want to know. That's what I want to know. Bjorn Nickerson saw a bunch of Mego figures at Walmart earlier. They had Toxie and a few others. They had Toxie? That's a Walmart exclusive. I want one. Dang it. That's awesome that you found him, though. It really is awesome. Ozzy says, I know you don't like Super 7, but I think we're going to name him the Scum figure. Yeah, I've been thinking about that myself. I might actually pull the trigger on that. Because, like, in what world did we ever think there would be a Napalm Death action figure ever? And they have there's an alternate version that is, like, super limited. And I doubt people are pulling the trigger on this thing. And I'm like, I'm on the fence about it. I gotta wait. But maybe by the weekend, if they still have it, if they still have the limited one, I'll buy both. If they don't have the limited one anymore, I will wait on the other one, just because. Jim Largo says, I just impulse bought Thunder Barbarian, so ramen. That one you were looking at, the overpriced one. You bought the overpriced one. I don't blame you, but I get it. Joe DeBecky says it's tough, but I refuse to buy new stuff. I stop myself every time. It's not like I don't want it. That's fair enough. Yeah, I got you. Yeah, Thundar the Barbarian. These are from like 2002 or 2003, I think. They're pretty old. They're pretty up there. Sweeney says, I've only once gone to the bank of mom and dad for a bargain buy, funds top up, job lots of Ewoks, a job lot of Ewoks for about 40 pounds, which included 2 of the last 17. Never again, though, there's always a bargain. Fair enough. Yeah, this is one of these things where, on one hand, I think my parents would get a huge kick out of me being back into toys, but sometimes be like, you spent how much on a what now? So, like, on one hand, I wish they could see me happy with this stuff, but on the other hand, I'm glad that they're dead and don't have to worry about me spending money on this stuff. It's a weird place for your brain to be. That's for sure. Largo's corrected me. Not the overpriced one, but it was spendy. Convention special with glow in the dark. Okay. At least you got the rare one, Jim. At least you got the rare one. I'm not judging you. I'm not. I'm just like, it's something I would do. Something I have in fact done. It's a whole thing, dude. Like, I can't even. Yeah, Ben. Earache partnered with Super 7, and they've put out an action figure of the demon from the cover of the first Napalm Death record, Scum. And there's 2 versions of it, one limited edition and one you can just get it. It's cool. It's not great, but it's a Napalm Death figure. Like, hello, I probably need to get that. Bjorn says, I had to ask you about the Motu Origin stuff to convince her it was a good deal. Fair enough. And it was. You got a good deal. You definitely did. Sorry about my sinuses, guys. Steven says, thank God I haven't walked into a vintage toy shop and then saw a 1978 remote control Jawa Sandcrawler and have to run out of the store with great regret not buying it. Yeah. Everyone has that one thing. That if they had it, right? I feel like for me, it would probably be like if I walked into a store and they did have the entire run of Series 3 Superpowers collection at a reasonable price, but it would still come to like close to $1,000 for all that stuff. which would be a steal. Like everything in Series 3. The vehicles, all the figures complete with original parts. That'd be rough because I would. If I get them in one go, I'd be there in a heartbeat. Dojatron would support a Super 7 Ultimates Thundar figures. I would too. I think that'd be great. I think that's even though Super 7's quality control is pretty bunk, they do have some pretty good ideas, and it'd be nice for people to be able to get the stuff that they want. Ozzy says that his dad is like that with anything you buy. Thinks I should just stream everything. I have to tell him that things I like are not like a majority is not streamable. It's fact. 100% fact. For the simple fact, let him know that even if it is something that does stream, maybe explain to him that those streaming rights always change hands. And movies you would think that you could stream right now, they're just not there. Yes, lime green or orange for the Scum figure. That's correct. Thank you for looking that up. Gordon Organ says, I'm still looking for that generic boat toy as a kid. That's awesome. Super 7 Godzilla is pretty good. I'm not going to answer for Carl, but I've seen it. It looks very good. Looks very accurate to the original toy, just in smaller scale. Karen Ball says, last week's impulse buys, G.I. Joe Classified Heavy Artillery Roadblock, 2 Origin Stridors, dueling Stridors, if you will, 1 vintage Max Box Thunderbirds Brains figure, and 4 Doctor Who and K1 Robot action figure sets. That's a pretty nice little haul you got there. My impulse buys for the last week were some Blu-rays. I bought Van Damme's Hard Target, Gladiator on 4K, and what was the other one? I don't remember, and I'm too lazy to go over there and look to see what it was. But it was something else that y'all be like, what? Like, that's a weird combination of things to buy, Jim. Just looking over here. Everything else I have, I showed off on the last stream over the weekend. Yeah. So toy-wise, pretty much that's it for me right now. So we've talked about budgeting, pre-orders, the differences between those. We've talked about impulse buys and how we approach those, holy grails a little bit. It's a good discussion that we're having, I think. And there's always deeper places we could go with all this stuff. Like, let's be honest. But that's where we're at this point. Bjorn Oakenson says, I had an impulse purchase today. I got a new space Lego set. Nice. If the butthole tiger was there, I probably would have gotten that. What's a butthole tiger? You know what? Don't answer that. I don't want to know. I don't want to know what a butthole tiger is because it sounds like something that I'm better off not knowing. Woman of Cardboard's pulling the trigger on the 3 3/4 Shogun Warriors Godzilla. That's awesome. I'm not going to Google it, Will. I'm not doing it. I want to know. I don't want to know. No. 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 No, sir. I love you, but no. I do not want to know. No. I don't care. No. Not doing it. At least not on the show. That's for damn sure. No. Exactly. Are you not entertained? Well, Gladiator callback for sure. Just know. If the Force was a real thing, this motherfucker would have the black robes and the red lightsaber inside of 15 seconds. You can hear her laughing. No, I'm not looking at that picture, Bjorn. I'm not doing it. Fucking Sith Lord over here. Just like, I can't resist. Fucking. All right, I'm going to incentivize this. And I know it's a really horrible thing to do, but I want to see how serious you guys are about this. First person to super chat $1, I will pull this up on. Not only will I look at it, I will show it on stream as long as it's not going to get me demonetized. But I gotta See, this is why I'm not even looking at it. Cal L48's like, I just Googled it. I wish I hadn't. Like, no, I don't. Discord's right here. I can look at it right now. And I don't, son of a bitch. He's like, for Sue's giggle. Okay. So he wasn't saying, oh, you motherfucker. There it is. There's $1 with no message. Here's another $1, no message. I guess I have to do it now. See, I should never have given you guys the power. I don't know why I did that. All right, Bjorn, send me. I'm not Googling it. You got to send me the picture. Send me the picture, Bjorn. If you've got it, send me the picture. I got Discord open right now. I'll look at it. Kira Balls, there's a video on YouTube you maybe watch. I didn't make you do anything. All right? It's Bjorn and Sue's with her giggle. Okay? I had nothing to do with this. All right? I am only pawn in game of life. Okay? I'm just here trying to have a discussion. All right. Fine. What? What the hell? Okay. All right. Okay. I think it's safe to show this. It's against my better judgment. But sure. God. It's right there. There it is. I hope you're all happy. I hope you're all fucking happy. Let it never be said that Lego doesn't have a sense of humor. Okay? I'm not sure that was worth all of your dollars. I don't think it is. But if you Will. He's like, $9.99. He's like, I gotta see it. All right. Yeah, Kieran Ball's like, just think, there's a Lego factory somewhere filled with pig buttholes. You're not wrong. He's like so happy. I'm with you, Jim. Feel soiled and sullied. Need a hug? I'll give you a hug, brother. You fucking shut up. I hope so, Will. I hope so. Did Joe Exotic design that set? You know what? I bet he did. I know World Made of Cardboard. Trying to take this innocent channel down. We're blameless, sir. Blameless. Well, I'm glad it was worth it. Jesus Christ. Exactly. I haven't found it yet. I already showed it, Ben. I already did. All you have to do. I don't want to do this to people. I don't want to do this to you. All right, Ben. Hope you're looking, because I'm going to flash it on the screen for just a second. Pun intended, I suppose. But here we go. There it is. And it's gone. No more. I mean, I'm sure there's a variant. There's probably like a dark purple one. Maybe a slightly like splatter some brown paint on it, you know? Because maybe the tiger's got like really bad acid problems. I'm sure it's there. You damn well better take full responsibility, Bjorn. She's slowly dying over here. I can hear like her lungs giving out. It's a whole thing. She will never look at that brick the same way again. Me either. I'm so glad the Dinobots weren't made like that back then. Same. Can you imagine anatomically correct Dinobots? Me, Grimlock, have swinging dick. Like, no, I don't want that. Well, that says, I don't know how Lego does things, but someone designed that and at least one other person had to approve it. Exactly. That's everything that's right with the EU and everything that's wrong with the US. Roman Cardboard says, change of topic, thankfully. Just order the 3 3/4 inch Shogun Godzilla. Yes, but does he have a pink butthole? The world must know. Keith Knight, what's up, mate? Rumor has it Lego's bringing out a well-hung lion as well. Lion with a big smile. I would buy that, by the way. Even, mate. It's good to see you, brother. I don't think you're sorry at all. I don't think you are. Jordan, I don't think you're sorry at all. Kieran Ball, I want a toy Poloy can use it for a Star Wars restoration. Can you imagine Dave with that? He's like, I'm going to use this rather odd, I've no other way to say it, in anal piece from a tiger, but it fits where I need it to fit, and I think I'll stop right there. Like I could just see him like trying to talk his way through it, and you could like hear his face turning red. That would be amazing. Bill Lefton, no worries, man. I'm happy that you're here, brother. It's good to see you. I also really hope it never happens. Ben Sully says, my chat's way behind. Sorry. Made you do it twice, though. Fair enough. Literal tears running down her face. That would be the line, oh! Thunder, 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 Thundercats, oh! Yeah, I can see that. Sure. Where's Lyle Convoy when you need him? Like, he would be ripping that one up pretty good. It'd be good. Now that we've torn down all of what little integrity we had left, might be the fastest turnaround on monetization that's ever happened in the history of YouTube. Like, we gave him what? No, pull that shit. Wait, what? He said, what's funny is that piece of poster represents a flower. Oh, I could have lived my whole fucking life never having known that, dude. Like, I don't want to. Lego, apparently, Suze. Lego, apparently. Hi, Jason. Welcome to the Lego Tiger Butthole Show, apparently. Guys, I've been live streaming for the better part of 10 years. And I've gone to some pretty blue places. I've gone to some pretty mature discussions. Never in all of my years did I ever think that I'd be having this long of a discussion about a Lego piece designed to mimic a tiger's anus. But here we are. Trying to jig is monetized, YouTube streaming, and it's gone. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's it. This is the greatest moment in YouTube history. All right. I'm glad y'all are having a good time. I'm not even reading that out loud. Keith Isaiah now humming the tune "Eye of the Tiger." I'm like, oh, "Eye of the Tiger." But instead of like the chokes on the guitar, it's farts. I can see that. What the fuck? How did I lose control? How did I lose control of this show? I'd rather not imagine the Lego show that'd be the tie-in. That's a different Lego movie. Okay? Available only online. If you get my drift. It would be an implied buy for you if you saw one in the wild. Yeah, Jim. Yeah. Ask me about it later, dude. I can't even. I don't even want to dignify it by explaining it again. Maybe that's the case, Kieran. Maybe that's what it is. It's a whole thing. Jason says, I don't know what's going on, but I need a 5-year-old's drawing of this for Jim's friend. If you knew what else was on my fridge, you'd laugh a lot harder. But I'm not going to show you. I never intended for this to happen, but I'm glad it did. Just shield yourself against this madness. Yeah, I am letting the inmates from the asylum, Jay. I am. Okay, just make sure that you don't accidentally just don't be drinking liquid for that crap. So how about them bears? Apparently it's about them tigers. Gojatron, wrapping it up perfectly, says everybody poops, even tigers. You're not wrong. Bjorn, thank you very much for the super chat. It's very generous. No, I'm not showing it again. I've shown it twice, which is 2 more times than I said I would look at it. I don't want to see it again, let alone subject the rest of you to it. Sorry. I will give you back your $2 if you want, but I can't. In good conscience, show that again. Shortest monetization for the sake of a tiger sphincter. Yes. Yes. All right. Okay. All right. I'm putting the moratorium on this particular line of questioning. You guys got about 18 minutes left for any Q&As you might have, but I will not be taking any questions about the pink Lego piece on the back of the tiger. It's not happening. No more. No more. Although I'm seeing some good ones. Thanks for the super chat, Jimmy says. I've started hot coffee once. That sucked. Oh. Yeah, you don't want to you don't want to choke on hot coffee. It's the worst. It's the worst, man. Thank you for that, though. Ooh, homemade hamburgers for dinner. Well, you enjoy your meal, sir. Thank you for being here. Love your face. Thanks for taking this wild journey with us tonight. I appreciate that. Goodness. You guys. Oh, hot coffee through the nose? Oof. Screw that. Screw that. Stephen with a very good question. What was the stream's topic again? It was impulse purchases, pre-order planning, and how we deal with the unexpected when we find something we really want in the wild. And that's what we were talking about for a solid hour. And then certain things came up and everything just fell apart. It's fine now. Yeah, you see, Jason? You see? You understand why I'm so upset? 3rd degree scald hurt to breathe. Ugh, I bet it did. Ugh. I swear to fuck, Largo, if I get one of these in the fucking mail. No. 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 I know. I can hear your brain. I can hear it from here. From countries away. No. It's not happening. I don't want a cringer butthole. God. It's like the perfect metal song name, though. Prolapse Tiger Butthole. Yes, true. You're not wrong. I used to play bass for them. I can't. I can't. I just wanted to have a nice discussion about the economics of toys. That's all I wanted. I'll bet you love to customize. Customize your face with my fist. All right. So, y'all are squandering your time here. But what's coming up, we still have the same videos in the hopper. A couple other ones that I put in the back of my head. And certainly if things come up, I'll be doing videos on those just like we did with the Mattel Creations one today. Nerd Rage says the Cringer variant would be a Mattel Collector's exclusive. Yes, but they would delay it by 6 months, then email you and say that, hey, if you still want this, you have to email us back or we'll cancel your order automatically. If you don't know what I'm talking about, check out my latest video. It's not my lives I'm worried about Lego bringing joy into. At least we got to the bottom of things. It's clever. Ricky, I'm not bringing that up on the fucking screen, dude. That's not happening. But I can always count on you to take things just a little further. Just a little further. Just a little further. All right, folks. I think that I'm not going to be able to top that. I don't think there's anything really coming back from that. Now that we've all regained our ability to breathe and deal with the world in real time. So I'm going to take my leave of y'all. I love you very much. We will have some other videos this week, and then certainly we'll have a stream next Monday as well. Really love you guys. I appreciate all the support that got us here, and I love that you guys actually look forward to these streams and you show up. So I really appreciate that. Jim, no, I did not receive that package yet. I did not. I have not received a two-way package at this time. It may still be waiting at the box. I don't know. So I'm going to leave you guys with this comment here. Keith Knight says, never in our wildest dreams did we ever think a toy channel would have us discussing the rectum of Panthera tigris and Googling it. There you go. There you go. Folks, love your faces. We'll see you next week. If you need me, get a hold of me. Thanks to all my patrons, everyone who's given a super chat. I love you. Good night.